I used to post on LinkedIn maybe a few times a week, maybe once a month, if that. Even though I had tons of ideas, I'd either forget them or I would be in a meeting when I had them, or I'd be on a run, and I just didn't have that much time to sit down and write the idea fully formatted for LinkedIn right when I wanted to. So that kept me from posting more on LinkedIn. And one of the keys to growing on LinkedIn is consistency. So I built a system that helps me stay consistent with my LinkedIn content. The way it works is I have a tool that takes a voice note that I want to say an idea into, and it will take the transcription of that voice note and create a fully formatted LinkedIn post to add to my content calendar system within Airtable. And then from there, I can actually approve, rewrite, or deny this LinkedIn post. And once I click either of those options, it will schedule or rewrite the post on my calendar. And that's basically the entire system. This has allowed me to post much more frequently on a daily basis. And since using this system, my LinkedIn has grown quite fast, I would say, quite explosively. It's been crazy. So I'm here to share that system with you all here today and kind of give an overview of how I use it and how it works. And that's pretty much it. So let's dive right in. So the first tool that I use to create these posts is Workflowish. This is a tool that I've been working on myself to use for automations and to basically start any automation or talk to your agents with voice notes. So I'm going to log in, and then here we can see I have a new LinkedIn post recorder. I can select different things like microphone. I can also iframe it or copy the URL. But here, this is where I would basically say record my LinkedIn post idea. And then once it's actually done recording and transcribing what I say, it will send it to a make.com automation. And then from there, it'll add the post inside of my content approval dashboard here. So let's give it a shot. Write a LinkedIn post talking about how I made a YouTube video over the weekend going over my content system on LinkedIn, and it's available to watch. And if you commented on my post a few weeks ago and never got access, this is the full video, and that's pretty much the entire post. Nothing crazy. So it's going to process that, and then we'll see that new post pop up here shortly. So there it is. So we can see here is the post copy. If you've messaged or commented asking about how I organize my ideas and keep content coming, good news. Over the weekend, I recorded a full walkthrough of my LinkedIn content system. Amazing hook. I love that. This isn't some over-polished guru course, just my no BS, real deal process for turning chaotic notes and scattered ideas into consistent posts, even on Mondays when coffee is barely working. So I can actually, if I did want to make changes to this, I could write some feedback here. Use emojis for bullet points instead of actual bullet points. And then I can click rewrite, and then now I have an Airtable automation that's actually going to rewrite the post content. So we'll see that happen here. So you can see it replaced the bullet points with emojis. And now I can say something else. Let's say add more emojis in general, and then rewrite, give it a few seconds. All right, we got a lot of emojis now. So, and then let's say I want to approve this. Once I click approve, we can go over my content calendar, and then we'll see that new post pop up here somewhere. There it is. So this will be posted on May 4th at 11:23 a.m. announcing my YouTube video that breaks down my full LinkedIn content system. And a reminder to those that request access before. Perfect. So once that we reach that current time, this will be posted to my LinkedIn, and I can go show the automations used for that. I'm using make.com. I'm gonna log in. All right, so here is the scenario that's actually creating the post. Most of my posts are just written content. I don't really do any videos or imagery usually. If I do, I usually just do those manually. So here it's getting the webhook, or the webhook is receiving the record ID from Airtable via a automation script, and then it's getting the actual post information, then actually posting to LinkedIn, making the full content published to my main feed, and then updating the content calendar with the information about the post, like the kind of the ID and URL to the post, so that I can keep tracking the performance of the post later on. Right? And then here is the actual automation that's creating the post. It looks a little bit messy, I know, but all we have to worry about is really just this one path right here. That's the entire post right there. So here it's receiving the transcript from Workflowish. Then it is running the prompt that I have predetermined here. So I've got 2 different prompts. I like to A/B test, kind of see which one performs better. And then this categorizer determines if this is actually something I want to, make content. If it is content related, it will go down the content branch. I've disabled this other branch for now. This will just generate a short form video, but we're not worrying about that for now. For here, it is actually creating the LinkedIn post draft. I'm using the new 4.1 model. I really like it a lot. And then from there, it's basically creating some different metadata about the post and then adding it to my content calendar. And then that is where we see it in the approval dashboard. So that's kind of the entire system overview. That's the entire system I've used to basically create consistent LinkedIn content while still maintaining my own ideas and thoughts. Now I'm going to show you the results of this actual system. All right, so just for the last 7 days alone, I've had around 45,000 impressions. 2 weeks ago, I had a very viral post that just went crazy. So let's do past 28 days. And then you can see last 28 days, I've had 780,000 impressions. One of my posts really went crazy here, went crazy viral. It is using basically a CTA post. So asking people to comment a word for a resource. And we got about 1,300 likes, 5,000, almost 5,200 comments, 5 reposts. And this is the exact post was written using the system that I just showed you. So I would say that is as much proof as I needed to tell myself that, hey, I think this works. So we can see that this big bump of attention also gave some of my other posts a lot of impressions. And then let me go audience. So if we go same past 28 days. So here we can see I was averaging like maybe across all this is kind of when I started using the system more and more. And then on this one day alone, I had 4,800 new followers. And then the next day, 3,200 new followers. Next day, 376 kind of died down, but went from 54 to 4,800 followers in one day. So just from this one post. So that's kind of been my experience with LinkedIn. I got a lot of crazy comments and people reaching out to me on my messages. So that was crazy to navigate, and I'll post more content about how I automated as much as I could of that process. Overall, the results of this post, I had about 15 calls booked and 1 client closed. So as a lead generation system, this is kind of what it looks like once it's up and running. It doesn't take this, you can't get these results overnight, of course. For me, I was writing every single day on LinkedIn. Not every day, like I said, it's hard to write every day when you're not doing any systems. So I was writing kind of somewhat frequently for 3 years to get to 8,000 followers. And then in one day, I went from 8,000 to 14,000. So there's a little bit of luck, I'd say, a little bit of, consistency. But overall, I think that this system can help anyone who's looking to generate leads with LinkedIn, especially if you're a solopreneur or just starting out. So if you're looking for something like this in your business, feel free to reach out using the form in the description. And please like and subscribe for more content like this. All right, have a good day.